Brian Rodriguez, and I study at Western Technical College.
Yeah, okay. Hi, my name is Ryan Rodriguez, and I study at Western Technical College. I study diesel mechanics, and I'm part of the DATE program.
How did you hear about Western Tech, and where are you from?
I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I went to Desert Pathways, and I heard about Western Tech from an after-hour automotive program that they were offering, and one of the recruiters came down and was talking to us about Western Tech and the different programs they had. And when I heard about the diesel program, I got really interested in it.
Do you have family in El Paso? Had you been here to El Paso before?
Yeah, my dad's originally from El Paso, and I got some family. My grandma lives here in El Paso. It was a huge change for me, but once I got the hang of everything, it started going pretty smoothly. Two is when I moved to El Paso.
2022?
Yes.
All right. And immediately, why did you choose a career in diesel?
My dad owns a towing company, so I wanted to go back home and work on his trucks himself because of how much the mechanics would make off of just him. So I wanted to go home and help him out and do some of the work for him.
How was the diesel program here at Western Tech?
It was awesome. At first we came here, it was like how they sold it to me. It was all hands-on. The instructors were really welcoming, and they helped me with anything I needed help with. They allowed me to stay after school sometimes and learn a little extra. It was overall one of the best decisions I made so far.
You're really young, man. I mean, you're what, 20, maybe 19, 20?
20 years old.
20 years old, man. Oh, man, the opportunities that you're going to have. But when you were younger, did you know that you were kind of like a hands-on type of student?
Yeah, I did. Growing up, I've always helped my dad with the tow trucks and in the semis and stuff, and I was never really like a bug person, so I was always helping him and outside and helping him just fix stuff, and I never really, when I finally got my hands on stuff, that's when I was really learning, so I needed that environment.
That Western Tech was that environment for you? That it has kind of like met some of your expectations regarding that?
Yes, Western Tech met almost all of my expectations for hands-on experience and the real-world experience at Western Tech.
So tell me about the first time that you came to visit the school. Like, did you tour the school before you started? How does that work?
The tour was awesome. I got to see a little bit of everything. They didn't only just show me the diesel program, they showed me the automotive as well as the welding program.
And so were you decided in between these other two, auto and welding or diesel, or you already knew that diesel was going to be it from the get-go?
I knew diesel was going to be it for the get-go. I knew somewhat about automotive, but I knew if I got into the diesel world, it would be a better opportunity for me, and I would be able to make a lot more money off of the diesel.
I've been here recording all the other students, interview them, and you were always like kind of in the back because you're part of our work-study program. So how did that work, and what is it that you did here at the school helping us with?
Here at the work-study, we come after everybody, like the morning class leaves, a group of us come in and we clean up the shop, make sure it's all organized, make sure it's put away for the next class to come through. And we do a little extra stuff. We'll go outside, make sure everything's picked up outside. We'll help everybody else that needs help. So sometimes we'll have pallets of water. We'll bring out the toolboxes. We get to drive the Zambon, which is really cool sometimes. It's a pretty cool program. It helps you out, gives you more opportunities that weren't there in the beginning. But it's able to teach us like how work is going to be in the shop when we're not just turning wrenches. So it was a great learning experience. It showed me at least to stay organized. That just because you're in the shop doesn't mean it needs to be dirty, and it makes it just look better. It's easier to get around. When you need to move something, you can move something, and there's no clutter or mess on the ground, and it doesn't leave any tracks anywhere. Right. So yeah.
And that's on the safety side too.
Safety, yes.
It's less opportunities for mistakes or safety concerns or accidents.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this, but just recently, actually, just a couple of hours ago, that I thought you were an automotive student, but you're obviously in the diesel program, but you're also part of the DATE program. So what motivated you to go into this diesel advanced technology education program, right?
When I first found out about the DATE program, they told me that it was going to be a certification, like you get more hands-on, you learn the specs, the ins and outs of how the Mack and Volvo trucks work. So I got really interested because Mack and Volvo are a huge company, so getting to know and being certified for those trucks is a huge opportunity for myself. And so once I found out, I knew that's where I wanted to be and where I needed to be.
The audience is going to see this. They're going to see that you're wearing also this super cool Matco Tools, I guess, professional racing team jersey. Tell us about this opportunity that you went on an internship recently. First of all, how is it that you went selected, and what was the internship about? Who did you go with?
I went with Antron for the NHRA. That was my internship. How I found out about it was Antron came down and he was talking to us, and then I found out that there was an internship. So the moment I found out about that, I made sure my grades were where they needed to be, my attendance where it needed to be. So I worked as hard as possible to get to the internship, and then I finally got it. I worked as hard as I could to just get the internship opportunity. And when we went out there, it was a lot of work, but it was fun. It really didn't feel like work. We would do the drag racing. That's what it is. And so I was part of the pit crew for about 3 weeks, and my job was to make sure the car was clean, the oil was drained, and everyone had really good working conditions. They showed me how some of the ins and outs of how the engine works and the aerodynamics of how it is. I got to work on the heads a lot, and I also learned a little bit of the engine block. Overall, the experience was amazing. It was life-changing for me as well as my family. I loved it, and I found absolutely in love with it. And that's when I went out there is when I knew that I needed to be out there, and I did everything in my power to find a job out there.
These races, this NHRA, the circuits are in many different cities, and you're traveling all over. What made you decide this is where I belong? And how was the conversation with your father? Because you had said at the beginning that you wanted to help your dad too in the business. So how was all that?
When I told him about the internship, he was excited for me. He immediately called my entire family and was really happy for me. He was proud of me, in other words. It was a very, like, it was hard for me to tell him that that's what I wanted to do. But I also had wanted to become a great mechanic before I went out there to help my dad. And I did always like traveling. I wanted to always travel the world. So when I found out about the internship at the NHRA, and all they did was travel and do mechanics at a professional level, I decided like this here was going to be one of the greatest opportunities ever. Because not only do I get to learn mechanics and put my mechanic certifications to work, I also get to travel, and later on down the line, I could go open up a business with my dad, and then I could work on his equipment and everything he needed to work, and I will be fast and efficient at it when I'm ready.
So what do you say to the students that are like thinking, well, I'm doing diesel, but oh man, I don't think I have an opportunity to go to this automotive NHRA internship. I mean, of course, you're an example. What do you have to say to them, or anybody that's part of the auto diesel that are thinking about or doubting whether they should go for it or not, going to at least try the internship?
I would say anything is possible if you put your mind to it and you work really hard and you show up and you try your best at everything. Anything's possible. I didn't think that I was gonna be able to get into it either because I'm in the diesel, but I put my name out there. I worked as hard as I possibly could, and now I'm here.
Antron Brown and the NHRA and the other teams that we work with have hired a lot of our students, and I hear now that you are having an opportunity to go and be with them. Tell me, how did that happen, and how did they reach out to you, and what do you have to do to complete that employment opportunity?
So when I got the internship, I went out there. I had a great attitude. I wasn't ever like wanting to be on my phone. I wasn't distracting myself with other things. I went out there and I put myself to work. I worked as hard as possible. I treated the internship like I already had the job, like the car was mine. So I just put my 110%. And when my last week out there, we went to Indiana to the home base, and that's when Antron and Ted took me out to lunch and offered me a position with them.
Surprise?
My little kid came out of me. I wanted to jump up in the air and scream me out, but we were in a restaurant, so I kind of like held myself back, and I just had the biggest smile ever, and I was very thankful for the opportunity. So then that's when I knew that I did what I was supposed to, and I worked as hard as I needed to work.
What did they say, man? Why is it that they want you?
One thing that really stuck with me in that conversation was they knew I didn't know everything, but it was the drive and the hard working and the dedication that I had. And when they told me that, I was really excited, and that one was probably one thing that stuck with me.
What is it that you have to do now?
Now I have to study for my CDL. I'll be taking the CDL course here at Western Tech, and once I'm done with that, that's when I start my career with the NHRA.
That's awesome. So why do you have to take a CDL course to help Antron Brown? What does that help you with, or them in the team, I guess?
So the team, they drive cross country, and they do it in semis. So instead of having to drive a couple hours and having to stop and sleep, they do the team driving. So the more people they have for the CDLs, the longer they can drive. So once the race is over, we could pack up everything and hit the road and go straight there, and then we unpack, and then we have more rest time that way.
Wow, what a clever idea, right?
Yeah.
And some people say, I don't think that's a good idea. You should go to the university because schools like Western Tech are not real schools. I think a lot of students sometimes get that from maybe friends, family members, or even their counselors or teachers. What do you say to that?
I say they're out of their minds. There's schools for some people, like the book schools, and then there's school for everybody else that doesn't really learn from the books and could make a great career the exact same way. It's just how you were raised and how you do school, really. Yeah.
Exactly. But at Western Tech, we do have, not everything is just hands-on. You do have books and theory too, and you get your computer, right? So tell me, how was that? Was that, even though you're saying that you're more like a hands-on, was this challenging for you to also have the books and the theory, or you think it's a good combination to have both?
It's a pretty good combination to have both.
Questions that are a little tough, okay? So what will you miss the most when you leave Western Tech?
What I would miss the most is probably the people here, the environment. I'm gonna miss that the most. It was non-toxic environment, so it was pretty easy to learn. Um, Probably miss a lot of the diesel stuff too, but yeah.
That's awesome. For other students, people that are contemplating to come to Western Tech, why was that so important to you? Our environment that is non-toxic, man.
It was important to me because I know a lot of workplaces, a lot of shops, you get people that don't like each other and all they do is headbutt, and then they get you involved, and it's just very toxic. Western Tech, everyone got along, everybody was friendly with each other, and when there was disagreements, it was a friendly disagreement. It was never like a wanting to fight go outside disagreement.
So this is another tough question, eh?
Yeah.
Who was your favorite, or who were your favorite teachers?
I would have to say I like all the teachers, but one that stands out to me the most is he was on the Daimler side. His name is Frank. He's instructor Frank. He showed me a lot of stuff, and he took the time to make sure I learned everything that I needed to learn. He also took a little bit of his personal time to help me with my resumes and stuff, and I was able to go to him and talk to him about personal things and any advice that I needed.
Would you recommend Western Tech to anybody else there in Albuquerque or any other friends that you may have? What's your total thing on Western Tech?
I recommend Western Tech to anybody that wants to learn a trade. I think you should really check out Western Tech. It's really awesome here. There's multiple
Careers?
There's multiple careers and a lot of opportunities here. And all the instructors and all the everyone that works here is here to help you. Everybody make sure that you're gonna do great in your career, and it's just a really good place to be. Don't give up, rise up.